Hi, so I'm back with my commentary on the whole Cowboys testimony situation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in because it's so much going on, guys. Y'all just stay with me though. So let's just catch everybody up to speed. We already talked about the Officer Alejandro Guerrero, who was the first witness to testify. Cowboy is the second witness that testified, and so we're just gonna go ahead and break down his witness statement. So, the first thing that I wanted to start out with talking about was basically in the very beginning of the statement, the prosecutor was just establishing, how long Cowboy knew Nipsey, what his position was up at the Marathon store. And Cowboy also made mention that he ran the phone store as well. I don't know if that's significant to anything, but I just thought I would throw that out there. So basically, one of the uh, beginning parts of his statement that he pointed out that I thought was very significant was he made mention that normally when Nipsey comes up to the store, because as we all know, he is an artist, so he's not always in town every single day. And so when he would come into town, sometimes, if he didn't have an appearance up at the store or something, major going on, he would just pop up there. But Cowboy made mention that Nipsey never rarely got out his car. He would normally pull up and sit in his car and then he would just peel out. So it was just, that kind of thing. He would pop in and out, but he wouldn't stay really long or he wouldn't even get out his car. Every now and then he said, he might sign an autograph and stuff, but for the most part, he pulled up, he stayed in his car texting and talking, and then he would go on his way. So he went on to say that that particular day, when Nipsey came up there, that he did get out the car because he saw a guy, I guess his name is Rimpau, in the parking lot. So Nipsey got out of his car and he went over there to, greet the guy Rimpau. So that's when Cowboy said that he came out of the store because he saw Nipsey, pull up in the parking lot. He saw him over there greeting Rimpau. So he came out and they all three were out there talking. He basically goes on to say that they were out there, talking for about 20 minutes or so. They're just reminiscing on old times. I guess Nip hadn't seen Rimpau in a while, so they were just, talking about the good old days and, talking about Nip's new song. I guess he had just went in the studio and he had just recently made one of his videos, so they were just out there talking about that. And at that time is when initially Eric Holder pulls up. So according to Cowboy's statement, he says Cowboy, Rimpau, and Nipsey are in the parking lot talking. They're reminiscing, and all of a sudden Eric Holder drives by in the car with the girl. So they said, this is according to Cowboy's statement, that Nipsey said, "Is that shitty?" And I guess, Nipsey asked that question to Rimpau. Now, Cowboy doesn't state what Rimpau's answer was, but by this time, according to Cowboy's testimony, Eric Holder gets out the car and he approaches them. So now it's Nipsey Hussle, Rimpau, Cowboy, and Eric Holder, and they're out there having a discussion. Now, according to Cowboy, initially when Nip, saw Shitty Cuz, he asked him, where you been, bro? I haven't seen you in a while. And Cowboy said that Shitty Cuz said, I just been around, I've been gone. And he basically said that their conversation did consist of something about in reference to there being paperwork on Shitty and Nipsey saying he just needed to address that for his protection. Cowboy said that the conversation was not threatening in any kind of way. He took it more as of Nip was trying to look out for Shitty, and that was basically that. So at that point, according to Cowboy, Shitty leaves and goes into Master Burger. Now, one of the other things that I want to make mention to was because Cowboy kept saying he went in the burger place and Eric Holder was in there. Well, according to his witness statement, that's not true. He actually says because the prosecutor, now while he's giving this testimony, the prosecutor is also showing him the video footage of what's going on play by play. So in this footage is certain things that you can't deny. So according to the footage, there's a lady that comes out and we come to know her as Ingrid, and she brought Cowboy out his food, so he never went in the Master the Burger. So why would he lie about something like that? I don't fucking know. But anyway, one of the biggest things that stood out to me in this statement was because after the conversation that Eric Holder had with Nipsey Hussle and Rimpau, and they were standing out there, and according to Cowboy, Nipsey was telling him, there he heard it was some paperwork on him and he needed to address it. And the prosecutor asked Cowboy, well, did he chime in and say anything? He also stated that Eric Holder asked him after Nipsey had asked him about the paperwork. Apparently, Eric Holder said, man, it's just people be trying to hate on me. And he switched the subject and asked them if they had heard his new song. And Cowboy said he kind of looked at him crazy because apparently they hadn't heard his new song. And so he basically just said that when he looked at Eric Holder, he looked weird. He said he didn't know if he was high or anything, and that's the same shit that he told us on the interview or whatever. But that was his statement that he told to the court. So then at that point, he says that he told Nip. Now I'm going to read his statement verbatim because I think this is very, very important and significant. He says, basically, I had told Nip at one point, come on, let's go in. You know what I mean. Like, I don't know, just check in. In the parking lot, we don't hang out too much like that. So Nip is there, we hang out for a little bit. It's time to get inside. So we had been out there too long already. And basically, I told him, come on, let's go in. And I think at that time, he had started to sign somebody else's autograph, but that's a little bit later. And I just thought that that was very significant. So, Cowboy, you had a feeling that you knew something was going to go on. And I don't think it was just a feeling. I think you knew something was going to go on. I just feel like I stated in my last video, that Cowboy is basically, he doesn't hold, a top ranking position. And I don't really know too much about gangs, but I do know that there's a such thing called rules, order, and protocol. And that's a code of the streets, and there's things that you gotta abide by. And Cowboy also kept mentioning that in his part two of his bullshit ass interview that he did, about the rules and stuff, and the rules and rules. And so, a lot of times when in the street life, there are rules and stuff that you got to follow. And I just felt like at this point in time, he knew that Nip was about to be set up. He really, I guess, I feel like he ain't tried hard enough to get him in. But according to his statement, he knew he felt like something was about to go down. So he wanted to get Nip in, but people kept coming up to Nip. And as we know, that was all a part of the setup. They kept him outside. So at this point, this was another huge thing that Cowboy said in his statement, because he also made mention that the break room that he supposedly had went to, he states that there's a door when you go inside the Marathon store that leads to the insurance company, which is next door. He said that that's where the break room is. And then he was all over the place with his statement. He's like, well, yeah, there's a break room in the back of the Marathon store, but then there's I went to the break room that was in the insurance company. So he walked in the Marathon store after Ingrid brought him his food. Now let me back up a little bit. So, after Eric Holder and Nipsey exchanged words about the paperwork conversation, according to Cowboy's testimony, and like I said, Rimpau is still standing out here now, so y'all pay attention and stay with me. So, it's Rimpau, it's Nipsey, it was Cowboy, and it was Shitty Cuz, Eric Holder. So, after they had that brief conversation about the paperwork, and Eric Holder asked them about his CD, he went on ahead and he, meaning Eric Holder, leaves Nipsey's side as well as Rampau and Cowboy, and he goes back into the Master Burger. Now, at this point in time, according to the video footage, because again, the prosecutor is showing Cowboy this on the video footage as he's asking him questions in reference to his testimony. So at this time, Cowboy states that after Shitty leaves and he goes into the Master Burger, he comes back out, but he goes over to the car where Baylet Star is. At this point, he leaves. He comes back again, goes back into the Master Burger. Now, mind you, Nipsey, Rimpau, Cowboy still outside talking. Cowboy has his food from Ingrid at this time. They're standing out there. Well, shortly after that is when Kerry Lathan arrives in the light colored jacket, as well as Shermy. So, this is the thing that I really want y'all to pay attention to. So, when now, mind you, like I said, Eric Holder comes back. He went back in the Master Burger. He goes back over to the white car. He comes back over there to Nip and Rimpau and Cowboy. Well, at this time, Kerry Lathan walks up. They don't really say where Shermy went exactly, but initially when Kerry Lathan walks up, that's the main person that Cowboy mentions. Now, peep this. As soon as Kerry Lathan walked up, Shitty Cuz immediately walks away, and they make that a point to say in the statement that he immediately walked away, which I find that to be pretty strange. But the other part of this that really just threw me off was, so now you got Rimpau, you got Kerry Lathan, you got Nipsey Hussle, and Eric Holder immediately leaves as soon as Kerry Lathan walks up. Now the other part, this is the part that really, really just got me. So they said that when Shitty Cuz walks up again, now mind you, the first time that according to Cowboy's statement, the first time that Shitty Cuz walked up, Nip and Rimpau were out there talking. So why is it that once Kerry Lathan pulled up and he came over there to Nip, now mind you, his fat ass never went in the store neither. So all that bullshit about he went up there to get a t-shirt and he went in the store and all of that, that's not what Cowboy said according to his testimony. You pulled your fat ass up and you went right over there to Nip. And as soon as you walked up, Eric Holder immediately stepped away. And I'm talking about you, fat ass Kerry Lathan. So you already know some shady shit going on at this particular moment. So again, once now, like I said, now that Kerry Lathan's out there, your boy Eric Holder immediately leaves. He comes back. Well, this time, Eric Holder daps up Rimpau, and the prosecutor points out after Eric Holder daps up Rimpau, he walks away with something in his hand. That's where I believe Rimpau handed Eric Holder the gun. Now, I'm going to stop right there because my video is kind of long. I'm going to give y'all part two of the continuation of the rest of Cowboys interview, and y'all are not going to want to miss this. The continuation to the setup, that is. Again, this is news for your ass. Keep rocking with me, and I'm going to give y'all the rest of Cowboys interview shortly.